I know that Keonya knows this, but I'll go over this with you. So when you submit your midterm grades to Banner, Banner only wants A, B, C, right, A plus, B plus, whatever you're putting in. And so I personally think it's easier if you just change that last grade column to have your ABCs so that you don't have to say, oh, 80%, 80 is of this, I'm going to key in at this. Right. 75%, that's of this. Right. And because it's bad enough that we have to transpose them from one place to another, transcribe them. It's worse when you're also having to figure out the grade as you enter it. Right. Now, I say this a lot, and it's not come to fruition yet, but good Lord willing, when we get our replacement for My Charleston, which is now called Luminous, when we get our Luminous replacement or upgrade, we should be able to then link OAKS and Banner so that there'll be a button that allows you to automatically just submit your grades from OAKS to Banner. Oh, wow. And if you do that, then that grade has to be a letter in your grade column so that you can push it. So hopefully this not only will help you, but in the future, I'm praying in the very near future, like within a year at the most, we'll have those things connected. So that's my prayer. Let's go in, and the very first thing we want to do is you have to create a grade scheme. Now, you don't. You're very lucky because HEHP all uses the same grade scheme, and I believe that they've entered them all, that the grade scheme that you've been told to use is already in there. Yes. Keonya, you'll have to make your own if yours doesn't conform to one of these that are already here. But if you go in grades and grades, we're going to go to schemes. And in your schemes, you're going to see a 100-level grade scheme and a 200-level grade scheme for health and human performance. And if you click on it, you're going to see what is here. Okay. Now, Keonya, if this matches what you use for your ABCD grade scheme, awesome. Feel free to use it. Or you can look at the next one, which is the 200-level grade scheme, and see if it matches. But let's say it doesn't, all right? Let's say you're not seeing my OAKS screen. Okay, let's see. Go back. All right, how about now? Can you see? Find her.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, good. It's working. I can see whatever you're sharing. The schemes list?
Yes. And so I'm trying to find now. I've got too many windows to coordinate here. Let me see. Okay, great. She can see it now. Okay. So what I was saying is that if you come into grades and grades, and then you choose schemes up here at the top, there are two that are already in here, and these are because Health and Human Performance has asked us to put them in there because these are the standard grade schemes. But in most other departments, the grade scheme is sometimes left or often left to the faculty member to choose what they want it to be. So if one of these do not meet your needs, you can make a new scheme by just clicking on this scheme button up here where it says New Scheme. And if you click on that, then you can call it whatever you want, My Scheme. And then you're going to build it down here. Now, the weird part is you start at 0. And everybody's like, why would I start at 0? Well, you just do. I don't know why. So you start with F, and you work your way up. So I'm only going to make one that's an FD or CBA. And the start of my F is 0, and my F goes until 58. So I can put 58 here if I want, but I don't have to. All I have to do is put 59 here. So my D starts at 59 and goes until 64, which means that my C will start at 65. And now I have to add some more, so I'll add 2 more to get me a B and an A. So I'm just going to type the number of extra letters I want and click Add Ranges. So now I'll do a B, and I'll do an A. And my B starts at, its lowest is 78.9. I'm just going to do 78. And then my A's lowest is 88. Okay, so I have my grade scheme built now. I could stop here, but I also can choose to color it. So anybody that's getting an F will be red. Anybody that's getting a D is going to be orange. C is a nice neutral. Let's make them yellow. B, they're catching on, doing a little bit better, and then my A's are going to be green. So you can color code these so that when you look at the final calculated grade or you look at the grade book, you'll see those people that might be at risk. Okay? Okay. You actually don't even have to worry about this because you already have yours built.
I set a percentage for my, I did something different. And so I don't know how to fix that. We'll talk about that later.
That's the percents.
Okay.
So you can see these are based on a percentage.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys heard the question. These are not points. These are percents. So whatever my final grade is, and that frees me up to have my final grade column be out of 5,000 points,
Right.
out of 6 points,
Right.
or out of 100%.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because this grading scheme is going to be based on a percentage.
Okay.
Now, in your syllabus, you have something that looks
Yep.
like this,
Yep.
I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
And so if I wanted to take the time, I would have done,
Yep.
you guys probably can't see this, but I just have a sample that says A is 90 or more, A minus is an 88 to a 89.9. That 88 is really 88%, and I'm putting it here.
Okay.
So here where I say that my A starts at 88, then I put the 88 here, and that's actually seen as a percentage.
Okay.
Some people find it easier to put like 0 to 58.9 here. Then my D is 59 to 64.9 here. So it's whatever. So some people find that easier. You don't have to have this second column, but you can.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that making more sense now?
It is. I just don't, my scheme doesn't have I can't click on it.
Click on either one of those and see what it should open up.
Yeah, they do.
And see if it matches. So I'm going to hit save and close here real quick.
Yeah, I can.
And then if we go to, I believe yours should match this one, I think. And if we scroll down, what is your?
Yeah, I think those numbers are right for what we do in the HHP. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It just changes the way my grade, it looks like my grade. I try to change that. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. All right. So, does everybody feel like they could create their own grade scheme now?
Yes, definitely.
All right. The weird thing is you're starting upside down. That's the hardest part. You start with your F and you move from there. And that's the weird thing.
Thank you so much for explaining that.
All right, let me see if I've got, dang it, got a chat here somewhere. There it is.
And when we're, I guess for each individual assignment or quiz or whatnot, we would just say, I guess there's an option in the preferences to assign that specific grading scheme.
Right, so let's now go, now we have our scheme created. The default scheme for all of OAKS is percentage. So I'm going to go into enter grades now, and enter grades is where you see the grades that you've actually created and,
Right.
and keyed in. So you can see if I had grades in here and you could see them, let me expand my window a little bit. You could see that right now I have that grade scheme applied to everything. Letter grades are on everything. But I may not want that. What if what if you like seeing the percentage, right?
Okay.
I want to see the percentage for everything except that final grade. right? If you want to apply this scheme to your entire gradebook, you're going to do that under Settings up here at the top. And under Calculation Options, I believe that's where it is. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's my bad. I'm screwing you guys up. You set the default in schemes. So right now, my default scheme is this grading scheme because I have the check mark. But if I want it to stay the percentage one, I'll leave it. I'll leave that selected so that, and that will say that my entire grade book is going to be a percentage grade scheme.
And you just clicked within that box under
I just
default?
clicked on this little check mark, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you want, after you've done that, you can check this little box, but that sets it for the whole grade book.
Okay.
All right. So now when I go back to enter grades again, you'll see now everything is back to a percentage and my ABCs are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like the percentage a lot better in the grade book. I know you got a 50%. Students know they got a 50. If you're wanting them to calculate their grade, then you want them to see that I got a 49 on this and a 65 on this so that they can accurately calculate their grade. They can't really calculate their grade when they see an A or a B or a C on every single grade item.
So if you have designated this in your field of view, this is what the students will see as well.
Yes.
Correct.
They only see just one line of it, but yeah.
Right. Okay. But for example, quiz 2, they'll see the percentage. But for the final, they'll see A, B, C, or D, F kind of thing. Okay.
So that's why normally I recommend that you leave your default grade book as percent and then only change the final calculated grade. And that's done by scrolling all the way over until you see final calculated grade.
Mm-hmm.
And from the drop down here, I'm going to choose grade all. No, I'm going to choose edit. Sorry, I'm getting these confused now. And as I scroll down, you see where it says grade scheme?
Yes.
Now I can choose the my scheme that I just created and hit save and close. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you your percentage grade all around, and then it's going to just show you your letter grades right here. So for you, you could go from the drop down and choose edit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would choose that 100 level grade scheme under the grade scheme column instead of saying percentage.
Gotcha. Yeah, that works. It's giving me like 20 of 20. I guess that's how it's calculating something based on points. But as long as I've got the letters, which is what's important.
Right.
I'm just going to make sure it does line up.
So, and so now all you have to do is make sure that this is sorted by last name. And you do that by just clicking on the word last name. And it'll sort your gradebook by last name. And then that should be exactly the same way that it is sorted in Banner. And then you can go through and just key in the letter grade.
Nice.
Now, one thing that you may, just to let you know that you can do this stuff can be changed at any time. So let's say you want your students to see their percentage for the final calculated grade, but when it comes time to key the grades in, you want to see the letter.
Mm-hmm.
You can change this back. So I can just go back here, choose edit. After I've keyed in my ABCs and my midterms, I can come back and change this back to percentage so that the students will see that percent and not see the ABC. So you can switch it around, whatever's easiest for you to see. But just know that you can change that at any time once you get your scheme created.
That's great.
Is that making sense to everybody?
Yes, definitely.
So again, that was everything we've done has been in enter grades and scheme. So scheme is where you create your initial one, then enter grades is where you go in and you edit that final calculated grade and choose your grade scheme. Like I said, the best thing is if your grade scheme just matches one of the two that's already created.
Right.
Because then no harm, no foul. You can just attach it. And then when we do get the connection made, you will see a button up here that says, I believe it is export to SIS. It'll be a button that says export to SIS, and you just click that, and it's going to export whatever letter grade is in this column right here to Banner. And
is that something that's in progress?
It is something that's in progress. We have to wait until our new My Charleston replacement comes on board, which is supposed to be on board by the beginning of next semester. So I am hoping that by the time you guys return in fall, we'll have that tested and up and running.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
And it just prevents you from having to risk mistyping. You know, that's something that I think would stress me out. To make sure that everything was exactly right. And less so at midterm, but at finals, it's definitely a thing. So, so Sarah, what we were talking about before you came on is that Banner requires you to key in. When you submit your official grades, it requires a letter grade to be submitted, which is why changing this to a letter grade makes manually keying it into Banner a little bit easier. So you're not having to do the math in your head to convert percent to letter, and then key the letter in.
Perfect. Yes. I'll definitely be utilizing this. I think I'll do what you said with the percentages for now, just so the students can see, but right before I key in anything, I can change it.
Yeah. Like I said, once you have that scheme created, you can add it to this column or take it off this column like that. It's really easy.
Yeah, that's useful.
So for midterm grades, and I wish that Kianya had a microphone so that she could chime in on this too, but if your grade book has where you have it like this so that you have to key in a 0 if something is missing, like if the student doesn't turn it in, you have to give them a 0, so there's no grades. What it will do is it'll calculate this final grade based only on what they have submitted so far.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I have noticed I've had to key in.
Yeah. So there's two methods of setting up your grade book. One is if you had chosen drop ungraded items or set ungraded items to 0. Most people don't like the second option because the students start out with an F, and as they get grades, they work their way up. The other method where you're dropping ungraded items, you have to remember to give the students that don't turn something in a 0, or it won't count against them that they didn't turn it in. Does that make sense? So make sure that all of your 0s that need to be put in are put in order to get this grade. Also, when you're looking at your potential at-risk students, keep in mind that if somebody is doing okay, just okay, and by midterm only maybe 10% of your grades are in, you may want to talk to them anyway, even though they're still doing okay, just to make sure that they know that they really need to like kill it at the end, because some students will see like a B and they think, oh, I'm coasting, I'm doing great, but my final assignment is worth 50% of their grade. You don't want them to see that and start slacking off, but if your grades are spaced fairly consistently across the semester, then this should be a really pretty accurate grade for your midterms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's see what we've got. Any questions?
I don't have any more questions about this.
All right. Excellent.
Well, thank you so much, Mindy.
Sure. And do you have any questions about anything else?
I have a lot of questions about it. Yes, OAKS is OAKS has been a great resource, but it's been fun learning it, all the intricacies and whatnot. I don't know if you remember, but my students were finally able to view all the feedback
Right.
on the assignments I left them. And the one who particularly was like, I can't see it. He's like, oh, okay, I see it now. Did you do something? I'm like,
So no, you just
No.
didn't.
Mm-mm.
So you did have it set up that they couldn't see their grades before a certain date and time. So if they had tried to see feedback immediately after taking the test, then they wouldn't have seen it. It wasn't until
Okay.
that release time came up. But once you set that quiz release to allow them to see it, it was there. So they just didn't know how to look to find it.
Okay. I have another question. If you have a student submit an assignment to a Dropbox, but it's supposed to be for another Dropbox on OAKS, can you actually physically move it yourself, or do you have to ask them to move it?
You cannot move it yourself. You would have to delete it from the wrong Dropbox and have them re-upload it into the right one.
Okay.
And you delete it by, I don't know if I have any Dropboxes in my sample class, but okay. Yeah, you delete it by just going into it and clicking the little trash can icon next to the place where it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
But unfortunately, you cannot upload on behalf of a student.
Okay. Good to know. This might be unrelated, but do you know of any resources for students to use PCs on campus?
Oh, yes. If they go to the library,
Can they download software on these PCs?
yes, they can. And the library will help them do any of the, they'll help them use it, and they'll help them load anything on it that the college owns that they can get for free. And there's a lot of software they can get for free.
Okay.
So if they go to the library reference desk, that's where the computing support is, and they'll help them out there with everything.
Perfect. Thank you for the unrelated.
Sure, not a problem. Ashley, did you have some questions that you wanted to ask?
I don't know. I think, well, when I set up my gradebook, the only way I knew how to really do it so that I wasn't doing so much computation was to set different percentages of the total 100%. So I set up a whole percentage.
Right, a weighted gradebook.
Yes,
Okay.
and then since I know now that I can just set the final grade to a letter, I can just leave things as they are until it's time for me to make those adjustments.
Exactly.
I did notice that, I got my grade scheme directly from Skip. I do not match what HHP has.
Okay, so we can create a grade scheme for you then.
Okay, but I don't know if I need to, I guess I can update to what they're using.
Yeah, well, so it's
I didn't know there were multiple options.
It's the HEHP scheme, not the PEACE scheme. So I think of the PEACE classes as being the 100 levels, because I think the HEHP classes started to.
Yes.
So maybe Skip just didn't know he was supposed to be using that.
Yeah, it could be, or that it was something that he had used for many moons and never updated.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like either of the two schemes though.
Okay. So we can make one for this semester, and then to match what you told them you're going to grade on, and then we can switch over.
Okay, great. I had no idea we could adjust those numbers.
We can. Wow. All right. So Sarah, do you have any other questions? If not, we can close out, and I'll just work with Ashley here.
Okay. It was great to see you or talk to you. Thank you for all your help. Bye.
Sure.
So, I guess this is not a technology question, but the university hasn't just, or the college hasn't just collectively